There was a time in history where you just woke up and did what needed to be done. There was no social media or incognito windows to distract you from the tasks at hand. It was simply, I have this problem, this thing will solve it, so I will do that so that I don't die. Chop wood, carry water, feed yourself, and if you did all of those steps correctly, you would repeat it the next day. You see, back then, having confidence, doing difficult things, it wasn't an option if you wanted to survive. But then something happened. Well, lots of things happened. But one of the things that happened is the internet.
What about this internet thing? Do you know anything about that?
Sure.
But for all of the internet's great features, there were many unintended consequences.
It can also be really creepy and dark.
Using the internet or cell phones to threaten, spread rumors, or post doctored photographs.
The technology has been turned against women to make revenge porn.
Working from home, but they weren't always working. They were working on watching quite a lot of porn.
More and more people suffer from isolation and loneliness. How do you explain this contradiction?
You see, with the arrival of the internet, we got a modern day spin on our daily routine, and it goes something like this. Wake up, scroll, think about getting out of bed, but don't actually get out of bed. And if you do, take your phone with you. Go on a dating app and make use of all of your free likes for the day. Think about doing something productive, and immediately after that, go for a scroll. Look at your bank account in disdain due to your poor e-commerce habits. Do something to a poor standard so you can say you did something that day. Eat some food, watch some TV without giving it your full attention. Get into bed, scroll for a bit more, try to sleep, fail, scroll, and eventually pass out. If you're watching this video and you can honestly say that that is not your reality on a day-to-day basis, congratulations. You have incredible discipline and willpower. A life spent predominantly online is akin to becoming sedentary and waiting for nature to annihilate you. So the internet came and all of a sudden we have a window into everybody's lives. Even the people that at first were like, no, I'm not gonna make an Instagram, they did. They did. We all did it. So whether you're somebody that actually posts online or you're just lurking in the shadows, you're probably going to be pummeled by the negative impacts of the internet. You might have self-deprecating thoughts about how you are relative to how everybody else seems to be. Or maybe you flip the script and you decide to judge other people. Either way, it hurts. You know, maybe we're inspired by what we're seeing online and we decide that we want to do something similar. Then we go to do it and we just freeze. Because there's this collective analysis paralysis that we've all been injected with. Because we see things that are successful and then we look at our stuff, which is obviously not as high quality as the successful thing because we're starting out, and we get this sort of writer's block where we just don't do anything at all. And you see, historically, inspiration was probably not so prominent and in your face, but beneath your justifications for not taking action or procrastinating, there's an underlying fear that if you did take action and you did put something out in the world, that you would be rejected for it, and so you don't do anything, and so you perpetuate that limiting belief and you witness it reflected to you in the outside, because all of a sudden nobody cares about you because you didn't even put anything out there for people to care about. And so you say to yourself, I'm not good enough, so you don't do anything, and now the outside world says, hey, you didn't do anything, you're not good enough, you're right. It's both a blessing and a curse that the internet has made it possible to monetize basically everything, because now we associate our ability to monetize something with our worth and with our drive to do the thing. Whereas historically speaking, you probably weren't really making any money from making a painting or banging sticks against a rock and singing a song. You know, there wasn't Spotify back then. And so something that naturally comes to people and that people would have enjoyed just doing as a hobby is not done at all now, because we look at the people that are doing very well and we say, well, I'm not that good, so I just won't. The internet is a cruel beast, but also a wonderful feat. I started posting YouTube videos about 4 years ago, and for the majority of that time and for the majority of the videos that I made, nobody watched them. And then for some reason, I set up this new channel and started posting things, and I even started posting some of the videos that I had posted years ago on my other channel. And those same videos that at the time got like 10 views are now getting tens of thousands of views. And there's nothing different between the videos I posted then and the videos I posted now. Like literally it's a carbon copy. But the algorithm, the way the internet sorts things has changed. And so it would be such a shame to think that there's people that have gifts that aren't sharing their gifts for fear that they won't reach anybody, or for fear that they won't be recognized for their value. Even the human that doesn't care for creativity is struggling to do the most basic of human things because of the internet. Reaching out to somebody has turned into a 47-hour deliberation period where you think of what words to say, what order to say them. Should you say hey, hi, hello? How many Y's should you put at the end of your hey? Are emojis okay? Then you consult with 5 friends about the quality of your message and whether it's going to get you the response that you're hoping for. And anyway, all you were asking was if your friend would be able to look after your dog while you go to your swimming lessons on Tuesday night. And this whole thing has become a whole ordeal which has occupied so much of your mind. For what? Objectively speaking, connecting is easier than it's ever been. But instead we're playing these weird mind games and we've overcomplicated everything to the point that we actually can't do the most basic and fundamental of things. It's a lot more comfortable to date online, but then at the same time, if you just went out and asked 5 random people out on a date in person, you'd probably get a lot more results a lot quicker. And yeah, it's uncomfortable, and yeah, socially maybe nowadays it's considered weird, but at least you get an answer there and then, rather than on Tinder or something, you find this one person that you think is like an absolute babe, and then you swipe right on them, and then you spend the next 2 weeks thinking to yourself, oh, maybe they just haven't come across my profile yet, or maybe they're just inactive on the app, or maybe they did see you and then they swiped left, and you don't know or have any clarity on what the outcome was, and so you spend all of this time ruminating and thinking about it. And it's the same with jobs. Like, yeah, it's great that you can go online and see all of the jobs that are available. At the same time, everyone's doing that, and then we all spend months or maybe even years applying for jobs and not even hearing back from anybody because it's just become so normal to just ignore people. Whereas if you went into a coffee shop or somewhere and asked to speak to a manager, yeah, it's uncomfortable, but you're going to get the answer right there and then, and you're going to be met like a human and not like a name on a page in an email subject line. Now, is it a bad thing that I can sit at home all day, manage to make a pretty decent living doing something I enjoy whilst meeting girls online, and I don't even have to go anywhere to get food? I can just order it here. Am I saying that's bad? No, it's all great from time to time, but it's a bit boring when it becomes the norm. It's almost as though we've allowed the internet to handicap us to the point where we cannot live without the internet. It's like if you spend your whole life walking on crutches, even though you don't need crutches, your leg muscles will start to weaken. You maybe forget how to walk. We don't know how to approach people. We don't know how to make our own food. We don't know how to do so many basic things. We've basically minimized risk to a T. Well, except for like catfish and Nigerian princes.
It is my solemn duty to inform you of the passing of your distant relative and member of the Nigerian royal family, Uncle Atumbe.
We moved from having to wait till the stars aligned to get what you wanted to this paradigm of instant gratification where everything is at your fingertips. See, I'm a millennial, so I didn't have the internet for the first portion of my life. And you're probably similar. So we would have to go on to the music channels to find the song that we wanted to listen to at the right time, and then you got to see that crusty old music video, and it was like, yes, I've found Cleaning Out My Closet by Eminem finally. Or the way you connected with people was with MSN Messenger or Bebo or something like that. And then in terms of YouTube, it was like very low production, old school YouTube fitness, and that's what I was into. That was my recreation back then. It was hard work if you wanted to be entertained. I think in the natural world, things would equalize after a certain period, but in the age of the internet, things just keep accumulating. Even when you've absorbed everything you can, you keep seeking more. You keep seeking more food. You keep seeking more cheap dopamine, even though you're full. And so this lethargy and this stagnation starts to come over us because we're receiving so much energy, but we're not giving enough energy to burn those metaphorical calories. There's a reason that you feel rejuvenated after going for a run or walking in the forest or just spending any amount of time away from your phone. It's because you're allowing yourself to return to a baseline level of dopamine, and the internet has just completely banjacks our dopamine to the point where we are so scattered with our energy and there is no clarity of purpose in our being. We're finding fake connections in a red notification bell, but that's not actually nourishing our need for connection. So no matter how high that number gets, you're never going to feel as good as if you just went for a walk with a loved one. We're longing for depth of conversation, of touch, of connection. The internet, of course, can provide us with that, but is that what you're using it for? I consider myself a reasonably confident person in that there's been many things that I've been afraid to do that I've managed to overcome the fear and do it anyway. But at the same time, stuff is still really scary. Like asking somebody out in real life. Very, very daunting task. And so since it's not mandatory, we'll take the roundabout way. We'll get on a dating app. You know, we'll maybe see somebody in the coffee shop and then we'll go and creep them on Instagram or Facebook, and then we'll send them a message and be like, oh, hey, it was just, you know, and I don't think there's a better or worse way to do it. But I think when we really get in the trenches and ask people the hard questions face to face, I think it has a different impact. I think it says a lot more about you and your character and the connection to really put yourself on the line like that. And it's like you're living a half-life of sorts. It's like the vampires in Twilight. They drink animal blood because it keeps them going, but really human blood is what they want. Instead of getting that invigorating experience of meeting a new person and making that connection from the ground up, we water it down and we do some weird half-assed Tinder thing and just, you know, don't really value the effort and energy that we're putting toward things. We just say, oh, it's easy, it's just one swipe, it's just one swipe. But then you do that 100 times in a week and that's just energy been scattered everywhere. And what do you have to show for it at the end? Maybe you had a few dates, maybe you didn't. Maybe that energy would have been better allocated somewhere else. We can watch a movie from our home on demand, no effort required. You think that would be a fantastic experience, but then you sit down, you turn on the TV, the intro credits start rolling or whatever, you think to yourself, oh, I don't need to pay attention at this point. You take out your phone, you start scrolling on Twitter, you start reading about what's going on in politics, and then all of a sudden you don't even know where you're at in the movie, so you flip back 30 seconds, and then you get confused and you go on Wikipedia to try find out what's happened because you're not comprehending it with your brain. And then at the end of the week, you've got like 7 movies that you started watching every night, but you didn't watch any of them fully, and you've just completely botched the experience of what it is to enjoy a movie. Sometimes I feel like the modern day Mission Impossible is trying to remain focused for 5 minutes at a time. And I bet that a lot of you aren't even giving this video your full attention. You probably got different tabs open, or you're texting someone, or you're cooking your dinner or whatever. And I don't blame you, because you're a human in 2023 or 2024 or maybe even beyond at this point. Offline, people are faced with the truth of reality, and you realize that there are different people doing different things. Whereas on the internet, you get in this echo chamber where you see everything that you are being fed by the algorithm. And the thing is that it's giving you a warped worldview. The majority of the world is not represented on your YouTube homepage or on your Instagram Reels feed. But that's all you see because the platform benefits from you staying there. And so obviously it's going to show you things that you want to see so that it can generate revenue. And so now all of a sudden, in this world where there's so much information at your fingertips, you're only getting a teeny percentage of it. And are you smarter now, or are you stupider? It's all about positioning and manipulating people into seeing you in a different way. The version of me that you see on the internet in this video, it's the parts of me that I'm choosing for you to see. We see ourselves and other people more than was ever reasonably possible back in the day. It started with reflections in water, and then it was glass, and then mirrors, and now Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Not only can I see myself everywhere, but I can see other people, and then I can compare myself to them, and this other version then emerges. But none of it's absolute. It's always just a sliver. You want to see a video about how self-improvement ruined my life rather than how self-improvement made my life better. You don't want to see a video about how somebody became homeless. You want to see the video about how the homeless person made $100 million. We want chaos, and the internet's made it so easy to package chaos and put it right in front of you to the point where you can't resist it. With the internet, we can see absolutely everything. But I think that we're actually seeing a lot less of the picture now than we used to. But something interesting is happening. We're seeing people blowing up online that are just turning on a camera, no fancy effects, no nice video even, just them sitting in front of a camera, being a human, being awkward, expressing themselves, expressing their fears, because people just enjoy the silence and the normality. So now we're seeking from the internet a little slice of that authenticity. The internet itself was a revolution, but now there's a revolution within that revolution. Things are changing again. Honesty is a scarce commodity. The internet's made it so easy to hide our vulnerability, but it's within our vulnerability that the gold lies, I believe. And by being that version of you, you'll be able to find your people. It's where you find your strength. It's where your pain turns to gold if you have the courage to go there. You don't have to go offline. I don't think the world's going offline anytime soon. But just be honest with yourself and the rest will work itself out. Thank you for being here. If you liked it, like the video, subscribe, leave comments. Tell me, did you like the video? Tell me in a comment, please. I'd love to hear from you. I've got a newsletter you can sign up. Meditation in the description. It's free. It'll help you be more confident and more empowered. Have a great day. Catch you in the next video. Bye.